In this video, I'm going to install a summer thermostat on a 2.1 liter Vanagon. Okay, here we see the tools and supplies to put in the summer thermostat. First of all, I've got a brand new gasket. Second of all, I've got the summer thermostat. I put that in quotation marks because this doesn't really exist. I just took the guts out of last year's thermostat and now I have a slightly restricted passageway. Next thing I've got is the sockets that I'm going to need. They're only 10 millimeters. You may want to use a 10 millimeter wrench as well. Quarter-inch drive is highly recommended because it's pretty tight up on the front. I've got a little gasket retrieving tool in case I have to pick the old one out. I've got some blue gasket water pump type seal. I like to put a thin coating of that on the gasket. And then I've got a flashlight because I always keep a flashlight handy, and I have some spare belts because I own a Vanagon. I'm going to go ahead and buff this up a little bit. It's all super shiny now. You don't want any extra crud in your cooling system that you don't have to have. Volkswagen's got enough. Okay, to start the job, first thing you want to do is park your van with the butt up in the air if that's available to you. If you're worried about your van sliding down, go ahead and put another Vanagon in front of it. If you're worried about it sliding down after that, just put a rock in front of it or a skateboard. We got a nice cool engine bay here. We've let it cool down. In the front left of the engine bay, you're going to see our thermostat housing here. It's got 4 10mm bolts, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. We're going to go ahead and undo those. We'll lift the thermostat housing up. A little bit of fluid's going to spill. We'll swap out the thermostats real quick, put it all back together. Okay, we've got the tray underneath. I brought all the tools I want over with this. I also grabbed the 10 mil that I said, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the bolt that is the hardest to get to first, and that's the first one I'm going to undo. The reason I do that is if I can't get to it for some reason, I know before I've gotten too far into the project and don't have to put everything back together. So that's this one that's hidden up here. And I'm just going to break each bolt. They're not on there very tightly. And catch this one and this one. This one's kind of hard to get at with the dipstick in the way, so we're going to go ahead and throw the socket on there. Okay, now I've got all these broken. I'm going to go around again, starting on the one that's hidden on the left, and take all 4 out. You'll see this one in the rear is very tricky to get to, and the setup I had to use was a 1/4 inch with a very low profile 10mm socket. We can see where the gasket seats on here. I'm going to go ahead and just put a real thin film of blue on there. Just apply a little bit. Just work it around. There's not very much there at all, not enough to gum up your system. This is ready to go. We're going to go ahead and switch it out now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and lift this up. Use our little pick to retrieve the thermostat. We'll go ahead and slide the new one back in. And put it back together. I'm just reaching in with my hand now and continuing to run these in finger tight. That hidden one on the left up near the front portion of the engine bay is a little more difficult, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the socket on that and run it in that way. We're setting in all the bolts now, and once we have them all what we're going to call set, then we'll go ahead and tighten them down. I don't know what the torque specs are on here, and I'm not sure I could get anything to accurately put it on anyhow. I go as snug as I'm comfortable with, realizing that it's a plastic manifold. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to tighten all these down, being sure to tighten them all evenly. That's about the most important part. I've done this a bunch of times. I've never had one leak. It seems like a pretty good system. Well, the repair is basically complete now. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and start the engine and check for leaks. I'm not going to show you that because if we found any, we would just edit those out anyhow. A few notes on this. First of all, I'm not a certified mechanic. I'm a weekend warrior. I own a few Vanagons. I feel like I understand them pretty well. A lot of people aren't a fan of bypassing the cooling system like this because it keeps the engine from getting up to its operating temperature quickly enough. I find that my car runs fine, a little bit cooler. I live in Las Vegas in the desert southwest here. It is hot as blazes all summer long, day and night, and I think this is a great benefit to my vehicle. I noticed that it never reaches its maximum temperature. The fans come on much more rarely. When I shut it off, it cools down much quicker, and I've also noticed that my oil doesn't look nearly as beat up between oil changes. I'm a super big fan of this. Please note that I didn't remove the thermostat altogether. Some people are a fan of that. However, in the Vanagon, what happens when you do that is too much coolant goes through the radiator, it goes through too quickly, and it doesn't have an opportunity to cool off. So by removing the thermostat altogether, it actually runs hotter. So we keep the same restriction that was designed into the vehicle in the first place. We're just removing the component that helps it to heat up faster. Anyhow, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, nubsvegas@gmail.com. My name is Scott. Keep the rubber side down.